Hello everyone. Today we are presenting our paper titled A Scoping Review of Youth Lead Sustainable Leadership in Higher Education Institutions. So let me start with the background. Higher education institutions have a unique strategic advantage in advancing sustainable development through educations, research, and service, yet many sustainable initiatives still fall short. Not because we are lacking knowledge, but because we lack the institutional will to act. In practice, they showed up as a symbolic policy without real resources. Sustainability functions marginal in facilities or communications, and top-down fragmented initiative that struggles to translate visions into actions across semi-autonomous faculties. At the same time, students are often treated as a passive recipients rather than a co-leader. Even though Youth Lead Living Lab project has demonstrated cultural and operational changes that administrative office alone could not still achieve. The objective of our papers against this backdrop, our objective is to develop an integrative conceptual model of youth-led distributed sustainability leadership in higher education institutions. We do this by synthesis 53 peer-review articles starting from year 1998 to 2021 to build a system thinking framework that connect leadership's visions to implementation's output and long-term outcome. So in our papers, there are few research questions, which is to guide us to review. We hence ask three questions. So the first questions that we ask in our papers is how is sustainability leadership conceptual in higher education institutions? The second research questions, what leadership's approach and enabling factors facilitate your lead sustainability leadership in higher education institutions? The third research questions is what challenges and the opportunities influence the implementations of sustainability leadership initiative in higher education institutions. So those are the three research questions that we ask in our papers. And we also propose a framework. What are we proposing was comprising of 4 interconnected dimensions. So the first interconnected dimensions that we reviewed is the sustainability, leaderships, and visions. As we see here, establishing shared values and inspirational visions and broad engagements and explicitity include students' leaders. The second interconnection dimensions that we review is managing sustainability, implementations, and practices. This is through the acting through 4 technical core processes, which is campus greening, operations, institutionals, cultural change, community engagement, and curriculums, also pedagogy, formations. Third interconnections dimensions that we review is sustainability's output, which is it is the tangible result, such as balanced economic, environmental, or social performance that will enhance knowledge and innovations and graduates with sustainability's mindset. Last ones of interconnecting dimensions was sustainability's outcome, which is the long-term institutions and societal resilience, where graduates become distributed sustainability leaders in their workplace and communities. In short, we argue that youth-led distributed leadership should not be an add-on. It should be a primary mechanism for closing the knowledge or action gap and embedded sustainabilities across the university core functions. So that was the proposed frameworks that we are going to propose. Next would be our methodology. For our methodology, we conduct a scoping reviews following the 5-stage framework proposed by Levesque et al. 2010. We have choose the scoping reviews rather than a semantics reviews or methods analysis because sustainable leaderships in higher educations, especially youth-led distributed forms, is an emerging and conceptual fragmented field with diverse theories and mixed methods. A scoping reviews allowed us to map concept broadly and synthesis insight across the heterogeneity. In practice, we systematically identify the relevant literatures on sustainable leadership in higher education institutions. We also did screen studies against our inclusion criteria that we want. We extracted the key data and the concept. Also overview, analyze the patterns and also the themes. So this synthesis is the evidence into an integrative conceptual model that we propose. The process has been used the final samples of 53 peer-reviewed journals, articles that have been published between 1998 until 2021, which form the evidence base for our proposed system thinking framework. So next, I will pass to my group members, Madam Aina Najwa, to explain about our implications and also for the conclusion.
Right. Next, I will present about implication. So our paper highlights three types of implications, which are theoretical, practical, and also strategic implications. For higher education institutions seeking to institutionalize leadership. So the first one is theoretical implications. The proposed system thinking conceptual model clarifies how sustainability leadership in higher education institution can be understood as a distributed collaborative process that involves senior leaders, faculty, staff, and also students, not just design administrators. By integrating leadership, theory, sustainability, science, and higher education administration, the framework maps a causal pathway from vision, implementation, outputs, long-term outcomes, helping to organize a fragmented literature. It repositions youth from passive recipients to co-leaders and visionaries of sustainability, offering a more complete conceptualization of sustainability leadership in the higher education institution context. And then for the second implication is practical. They empower sustainability officers with real authority over budgets, curriculum development, and also research funding so they can drive institution-wide change rather than only managing recycling or newsletters. Institutionalized youth leadership, which is living lab projects as core to governance, teaching, learning, campus operations, and community engagement, not as extracurricular adds-on. Align policies, programs, and practices with a clear sustainability vision to move beyond symbolic compliance. For instance, charters and green campus branding toward funded, actionable strategies. Use the four technical core processes: campus greening, institutional culture change, community engagement, and also curriculum or pedagogy transformation as a checklist for embedding sustainability across the university. Invest in building capacity among staff and also students for sustainability competencies, system thinking and ethics, thereby producing graduates who act as distributed sustainability leaders in their future workplaces and communities. And then for this last implication, which is strategic implication, education institutions that effectively integrate youth leadership distributed into governance, teaching, operations, and engagement are likely to achieve faster progress toward the UN SDGs and develop a more resilient institutional culture. So the framework offers both theoretical and three implication, which is theoretical, practical, and also strategic, that guides for universities to aim to accelerate sustainability transformation and enhance institutional and societal resilience. Okay, so for the conclusion, in closing, our study shows that higher education institutions have a unique capacity to help to solve global sustainability challenges, but only if leadership can bridge the persistence gap between sustainability knowledge and also sustainability practices. Our conceptual model makes the case that effective sustainability leadership must be a shared, distributed process with students acting as catalysts of change rather than passive recipients of top-down directive. So when university embed youth leadership, distributed leadership across governance, teaching, learning, campus operations, and community engagement, for example, through living lab initiatives, they can generate tangible outputs such as sustainable graduates, new knowledge and innovation, and improve community well-being. These outputs in turn strengthen institutional and societal resilience and accelerate progress toward the UN Sustainable Development Goals. We therefore argue that youth-led distributed sustainability leadership should not be treated as an optional add-on, but as a primary mechanism for overcoming the historic divide between what university know about sustainability and what they actually do. Institutions that integrate youth leadership into their core functions are likely to achieve faster SDG progress and also build a more robust, future ready culture of sustainability. Alright, I think that's all for our presentation. Thank you. We welcome your questions and feedback.